You are a visionary.
Yes.
So we want to know. We want to know.
Yeah.
What is your vision
Yeah.
for all things clinical research?
Yeah. So my vision, as mentioned already, I think I've already stated in many ways how I plan to do this. And so the main goal is to have a community, of
Awesome.
clinical researchers.
Hmm.
It's to have us meeting, coming together as clinical researchers, learning from one another,
Yeah.
because that's the main goal of the channel, to learn from each other, have events, come, like, that's the main thing. The vision of clinical research, when all things clinical research, when I had it in mind, was why don't we just come together? Why don't you just form a big community,
Yeah.
yeah, to learn from each other? So
Yeah.
basically, that's my main goal at the moment. Like I said, I mentioned initially that I love helping people. And for me, if I feel like I don't make much of an impact, I kind of like become frustrated. And one of the things, as much as we make a lot of impact in our field, but one of the other things that I learned is when I realized where I come from with my career, and I was like, I didn't know this existed. I didn't know
Yeah.
pharmaceutical is such a thing,
Hmm.
and I've realized with most people that would be talking to you via LinkedIn, they have no idea.
Yeah.
They have no idea, and they want you to help them in. They want you to mentor them. And this is why I'm here. I'm giving back. I'm paying it forward, So for me, it's the ins of the channel. It's just to get people to be aware of the field, to get people to be aware of the industry, to get people to be mentored, to get people to be understood. And when they get into the field, they don't get lost. They've got somebody that has carried them already. So that's basically the channel. That what is it all about? Yeah.
So, why don't you just tell us a little bit about what you studied and
Mm-hmm.
what you do for a living?
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So I studied BSc Human Molecular Biology at the University of the Free State. Basically, like how I got into BSc, only God knows, because my mind was set on going into medicine, becoming a doctor, and unfortunately, I was accepted not in Bloemfontein, but my parents thought, no, it's better if you start something here and just complete it, and then you can go to other places once you have completed your qualifications. So for me, I thought I was so confused. Like after my matric, I wish I had taken a gap year, but I didn't. So I studied BSc Human Molecular Biology, which I completed in 2010 and graduated. And the first job that I got, because I didn't know what I was going to work as, I didn't know where, how, because it's all been about the lab, and everybody that I know that studied BSc is either a teacher or they work at the lab. So for me, I got lucky. I got a job at the lab and I worked as a lab assistant for like 6 months. And after that, I got a job with one of the biggest pharmaceutical companies. And from there, I started working as a clinical data manager. That's where most people start. And I gained so much experience in that area. I think I worked for like 4 years in the field. And then I moved over to CTA, clinical trial assistant, because I like literally I all I wanted to do was to progress in my career. How I didn't know. And after that, I moved over to a project specialist. I became a project specialist, which I worked for like 4 years as a project specialist, and moved over back to data management. So you see, it's been a roller coaster. I went back to data management, and recently I'm working as a centralized monitor, which I believe that is exactly what I've always wanted to do in the field. And finally, I managed to land it. And that's why I found it so important in order to help others so that they don't find themselves so confused in the field, so that they're able to navigate through and know how to, the tips and the hows and then, all that. Yes.
So you mentioned that you are where you've always wanted to be.
Yeah.
This role that you're doing right
Yeah.
now, did you know that it existed? That like, did you know that it was there,
Yeah.
or you found out as you moved and progressed
Mm-hmm.
through your career?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so interesting because I literally didn't know. All I knew in clinical research was always about data integrity,
Yeah.
safety of the patient, and whatnot. And as I grew in my career, I realized the risk based monitoring it's not one of the things that started long time ago as
Yeah.
others.
Mm.
And as I learned along the way, I realized that this is actually very interesting. Why not venture into this? And when I got into this, I was like, so this exists. So this is very interesting.
Wow.
Having to work with mitigating the risks with different systems that we use, monitoring, analyzing data. So for me, it's just like one of the best part of clinical research that I've encountered. So this is what I love. I really, really enjoy this part. Yes.
Awesome. So tell us the things that you wish you knew,
Yeah.
yeah,
Sure.
before you started your career.
Yo. I've already highlighted the mentorship part. Ne? I feel like if I had a mentor,
Yeah.
things would have been easy. Like, I've made lots of mistakes in my career and I've made wrong moves, and which I felt like if I had somebody to sit me down, if I had somebody to guide me through, this would have been easier. And also how to present myself in a working environment, and how to, especially in the industry, and how to give your best shot in the industry, because the
Yeah.
industry is hard, man. The industry is hard, and it's a research at the end of the day, and
Yeah.
it needs you to be spot on. You need
Exactly.
to bring your A game. And if I had known that initially, I think I would have sort of like avoided unnecessary mistakes. But it's also through those mistakes that we become who we are.
Yeah.
And I don't really regret that, but I wish I had it easier. I wish I had somebody to take me through it. Yes.
So, what are your favorite things to do?
What are my favorite things to do? I love reading. Yes, I love reading, and I love poetry. I do a lot of public speaking, and yeah. So basically, I'm the one who's always talking. I love talking. And I love my me time, and yeah. So my closing remarks. From all things clinical research, right? Is that to invite all our viewers that we're going to have, like I said, I will publish every week. So
Yes.
the idea of this is just to have people in the same field, the same the same profession, sorry, to come and I'm actually going to be interviewing people just to find out how are they navigating through their career, and how are they finding it within clinical research.
Yeah.
So I'd like to invite everyone to come and join us,
Yep.
to come and get the feeling of how it feels to be in the industry, and what should they know before they
Yeah.
venture into this
Yeah.
clinical research industry. So I'm happy. I'm happy to start this. I'm happy to start working with our future clinical researchers and the current researchers as well. Thank you, Lebu. Would you like to come and say hi? Lebu, guys, Lebu, let me tell you a little about Lebu. Lebu is such a hard worker. She's a statistical programmer. She'll be in the channel soon. We'll be interviewing her, and she's going to tell us how she does it. And we're looking forward to interviewing her. Thank you.